night for his team, 25 points and 9 rebounds. Wildwood Catholic starting Taj Thweet, Deshaun Lopez, Jaleel White, Jacob Hopping, and David Zarfati. And Wildwood Catholic controls the tip. Here's White, goes to Zarfati, top of the key. Mervo comes out in man-to-man. This is Lopez to the basket. Now Zarfati, baseline shot, no good on the little bank shot. And pushing is Wilson. Wilson pulls up from 10 feet off the rim, and we have an over-the-back call on Mervo. And I believe this will go on Tion Rushing.
Yes, that's what they're going to call it on, Brian. And Taj Thweet did a good job. He had good inside position, and he forced Russian to come over the back.
Wildwood Catholic with the ball, wearing the black uniforms trimmed in white and blue. Mervo wearing white uniforms trimmed in gold and blue. Lopez kicks out, offensive foul. Lopez needed to come to a jump stop. Instead, he kind of floated toward the basket, barreled into the defender, and an offensive foul. So now each team has one foul. 7:09 to go in the first quarter. We have no score. Wildwood Catholic showing some zone pressure here. Just kind of in the area, not really coming forward and pressuring hard, but they forced a bad pass, and stepping out of bounds was Will Thomas.
And that's exactly what happened. Wildwood Catholic creates that turnover again with that pressure. Like Brian said, even if it was a little token pressure, they still were able to take away the passing lanes or make the passing angle difficult.
3 officials for the game are Billy Martin, Jason Lure, and Steve Selby. White had the ball taken out of his hands by Thomas. Here's Carter running the other way. He lost the dribble, got it center of the floor to Thomas. And now driving down low, trying to throw a backdoor pass was Rushing. And it is too high for Elijah Ranton.
6:33 to play, left to play here in the opening quarter. We have no score.
And that's saying something to throw it too high to Elijah Ranton, buddy. He's 6'10".
Yes, absolutely. A 6'10" senior.
Here's Taj Thweet, top of the key for Wildwood Catholic. Puts the ball on the floor. Backdoor pass to Zarfati to the basket. Layup is good. Good find by Taj Thweet. Sensed the double team, and he threw it to Zarfati. Zarfati's man left to double. That's a bad spot on the floor to do so. Here's a steal by Zarfati to White. White to the basket. Oh, it's rejected by Thomas. Carter running the other way. Stops at the left elbow. Little jumper is short. Rebound Zarfati.
That's a good defensive play by Mervo Tech.
Mervo Tech comes in at 5-1. Wildwood Catholic is 3-0. Jaleel White for 3. Bang. It's 5-0 Wildwood Catholic.
And that's what Coach Deweese wants to see, Brian, is Jaleel White to come out and get going quickly offensively.
White nearly a steal, and then fouls Tion Rushing.
And that will be the first personal foul charged to White, second team foul against the Crusaders.
Nate Pryor into the game for Mervo Tech. Pryor has the ball, floater in the lane is good. The Mervo Tech's first field goal, it's 5-2 Wildwood Catholic. Lopez coming quickly. Lopez into the lane, had it stripped and knocked out of his hands and out of bounds.
Nate Pryor, the 5'8" guard. He's also a senior. Nice little move there, Brian, to get that dribble penetration, get inside the lane, then pull up and take that little floater.
Lopez with it as Wildwood Catholic resets out of the inbound. Lopez to the basket, floater's no good. Rebound tipped around. It's punched ahead by Thomas. Thomas to Pryor, and he lays it in. Pryor's giving them a spark off the bench. He has all 4 of their points.
Yes, he really has. The little spark plug at 5'8". The Wildwood Catholic coaching staff wanted to travel on Pryor, but the referees did not see it that way.
Here's Hopping. Jacob Hopping, backdoor pass to Lopez. Lopez shovels it into the corner to Zarfati. Good jump stop. Frees up Hopping for three. Short. Rebound taken by Mervo.
Taz Sweet a little disappointed he didn't pull that offensive rebound in.
Damani Carter enters it to Will Thomas. Thomas kicks out. Here's a three ball by Pryor. That's off the rim, no good. Rebound batted around. Jacob Hopping has it for Wildwood Catholic. Crusaders with a 1-point lead midway through the first quarter. Lopez, top of the lane, nearly stripped. Foul line area, goes backdoor to Thweet. Tried to dunk it over Ranton and missed it.
Yeah, Ranton did a good job not fouling. He just, he took away a clear path to the basket, and Thweet was not able to ram it down.
Here's Ranton inside, no good, and Thweet altered that shot. If he didn't get a piece of it, he at least altered it. Here is Zarfati in the corner, back to White, now it's Hopping.
Well, in that defensive play, Thweet said, hey, you got me down one end, now I'm going to get you. And Wildwood Catholic with the ball, hopping about just inside the timeline.
Hopping down the lane to the basket, left-handed layups, no good. Hopping steals the rebound, but then it's rejected by Ranton. Here's Pryor running for Mervo, stripped by Thweet, and then a traveling violation on Will Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas, a 6'5" senior. He actually might have gotten away with double traveling. The initial one, when he shuffled his feet, was not called, but they got him on the second one for sure.
Carlos Alexander, number 1, into the game for Mervo. 5-4 Wildwood Catholic, 3 minutes to go first quarter.
And Brian, that's the 4th turnover against the Mustangs here in the first quarter.
Lopez kicks to Zarfati, back to Lopez, swung over to White, left side. Into the corner to Hopping. Hopping enters it into the post to Thweet. Thweet dips in, shot is blocked. Right to Zarfati for three. Off the iron, no good. Tipped up, kept alive momentarily. But now here's Mervo running the other way, and it's Pryor. Pryor backs it away as he didn't have numbers, goes to Alexander. But you can tell, buddy, both of these teams can really guard at the rim, and we've seen that tonight on both ends. Alexander goes over to Carter for three, short. Carter follows his own miss. Shot up, no good. Rebound on the weak side, and the layup is good.
Wow, that was a pretty move by Will Smith as he comes down with that weak side rebound. And that's obviously, Brian, something that Coach DeWeese is not going to want to see his guys give up. Second and third opportunities for the Mustangs to be able to get to score off of that offensive rebounding.
So it's 6'5" Mervo now, and now we have a foul called on Damani Carter.
And that's going to be the first personal foul on Carter. Second team foul against the Mustangs. 1:51 to play here in the opening quarter. Wildwood Catholic jumped out to a 5-0 lead, and since that point they have not scored. The Mustangs have come back with 6 unanswered, and they lead 6-5 right now.
Jacob Hopping on the right wing. Hands off to Jaleel White. Hopping sets a screen. White uses it and then loses it. And the ball goes into the back, thrown forward. And Deshaun Lopez picks it up in Wildwood Catholic's backcourt. Hopping takes a bump, no foul called. Hopping looking at the official. This is the kind of game that you don't want those fouls called right there.
Absolutely. That's 35 feet from the basket.
Yeah, play through it.
No harm, no foul. Let them play.
Let's face it. If Jacob had lost that ball, the foul would have been called. There's Hopping for three. Oh, my. That ball went halfway down and spun out.
And right now, Jacob Hopping, he's just looking for that initial break to get that ball to stay down, to get himself going.
He can really shoot. He hasn't done it so far this year, but at some point, he's going to heat up. Here's Alexander, bounces into the post. It's kicked back out. Here's a three ball on the way that's good by Damani Carter.
Yeah, Damani Carter that time was fortunate because that ball wasn't intended to be a pass, but it was slapped out of his teammate's hand. He was right there, able to have his feet set wide open, and now 9-5 Mustang lead.
Hopping for three. That spins in and out. Rebound Ben Church, and he is fouled.
And right now, obviously, Brian.
Jacob Hopping has to have that attitude. What do I got to do to make one?
Well, you know, right now. You can see he's frustrated. You know, he pulled his shirt out of his. You know, he's tucking it back in, but that was just totally, you know, frustration on that miss. But shooters got to keep shooting. And as you said, Jacob Hopping is a very good shooter. And once he does settle it down and get on a little run, you know, that confidence is going to pick back up.
So Ben Church makes a free throw, makes the first free throw. And that is Wildwood Catholic's first point since the three-pointer was made with 5:38 to go in the first quarter. 5:38 to go earlier in the quarter, I should say. 24 seconds to play in the quarter now. Church made both. It's 9-7. Good double team here by Wildwood Catholic. And Mervo throws it away.
Brian,
Tion Rushing did a good job stepping through the double team, but then threw errantly.
Yeah, he was trying to find his big guy, the 6'10 guy, but he missed him and just threw that ball out of bounds underneath the basket on the left baseline.
14 seconds to go. Ball is loose. Stolen away by Mervo. They lob it ahead, and the layup is no good, but tipped up and in by Alexander.
Carlos Alexander with a real good hustle putback, and he gives his team that bucket right before the end of the quarter. 11-7,
Mervo on top, and they finished the period on an 11-2 run after Wildwood Catholic was up 5-0. This live video stream brought to you by Ulmer's Appliance, 609-368-4444.
And they just gave, the PA announcer, Brian, just gave Anthony Raffa, former Wildwood Catholic star, a very warm Boardwalk Basketball Classic welcome.
Yeah, he had the Anthony Raffa, the single game high point scorer in the history of the Boardwalk Basketball Classic. He had 45 in a win over George Washington in 2006. Raffa, of course, led Wildwood Catholic to 2 South Jersey titles in 06 and 07. And he went on to play briefly at Albany and then finished his career at Coastal Carolina at the Division I college level. And he enjoyed a very long pro career overseas. And right now he is, as they say in professional basketball, a free agent.
Yes. And no truth to the rumor when that night that they beat George Washington, that only 4 players made it to the gym because the boat got stuck crossing the Delaware.
Alex, that was one of your better ones, actually, buddy. Wildwood Catholic showing zone here to start the second quarter. 11-7, they trail. Here's a baseline drive. Kicked out. 3-ball on the way is short. Long rebound comes out. It's dished down low. Dunk attempt is blocked, but we have a foul.
And that was a good find. Again, Wildwood Catholic giving up an offensive rebound off of
to the shooter.
That's
the second time in recent possessions that they did that.
Well, Carlos Alexander, he followed his shot. Nobody boxed him out. He comes up with the ball. He's able to then funnel the pass down to Will Thomas, 6'5" senior. And like Brian described, he was going up for the dunk, but he did draw the foul. And he knocks down the first free throw.
Misses the second, and the rebound is taken by the smallest player on the floor. That's Alexander, and he is fouled. The 6'7" Jaleel White failed to check him out. Alexander,
well, right now
is only about 5'11". Free throw's no good. And Alexander and Pryor coming off the bench have really sparked this Mervo team here. As Alexander, second of 2 free throws. That one's short. So Catholic dodges a bullet there. It's still 12-7, but they're in dire need of a bucket. They haven't scored a field goal in a long time. Lopez, we have a foul. Lopez dove on the ball as it was loose on the floor, and then Damani Carter kind of dove into him. Excuse me, Nate Pryor dove into him.
And Brian, Mervo right now, they're really beating Wildwood Catholic on the boards. They have 14 team rebounds to Wildwood Catholic 7, but they have 5 offensive rebounds as well.
Hopping top of the key, double teamed, spins away from it, but gets stripped from behind and loses the basketball.
And that's going to be the 5th turnover against Wildwood Catholic. Just under 7 minutes to play, second quarter. It's the Mustangs 12, the Crusaders 7.
Rushing over to Alexander. Alexander, a deep 2. That's no good. Jaleel White, the rebound for Wildwood Catholic. He wants to push, gets it to Lopez. Lopez traveled.
Yes, he did. And that is going to be turnover number 6 against Wildwood Catholic. And the Mustangs, they've turned it over 7 times. And Brian, in last night's game, Mervo's win, they only turned it over 11 times the entire night. And they turned their opponent over 18 times.
Here's Mervo again, driving to the basket. That was Tion rushing on a wild reverse layup attempt, but Wildwood Catholic tips the rebound out of bounds.
And that was the Wildwood High School from Florida that Mervo beat.
Oh, they get a simple little inbound. They just bounced it right across the lane to Will Thomas, who laid it up and in.
And Will Thomas did a good job sealing his man. He got White on his back. They gave him the ball right in a perfect spot, and he lays it up and in off the glass.
White is fouled at the top of the lane. Official indicated that he was hit in the face as he crossed over.
And that's going to be the 5th team foul. First
Zarfati
personal.
lobs in the corner to White.
First personal against Carlos Alexander.
Here's White again. Goes to Zarfati. Now it's Jacob Hopping. Hopping drives, he lost it. Mervo running the other way. Here's rushing, and he lays it in. Timeout, Wildwood Catholic. And they have been outscored 16-2 since taking a 5-0 lead in this game.
And the Crusaders, Brian, they're shooting just 2 of 13 from the floor. They're 1 of 5 from beyond the arc. They just have that one 2-point field goal, which was made along the baseline by David Zarfati. So, and they're being out-rebounded 15-8. And that's got to be a concern for Coach DeWeese and his staff. They have got to start getting a body. And it's not the big guys that are killing them on the boards. It's the smallest guys on the floor. And one of them being number 1, Carlos Alexander.
Well, buddy, Wildwood Catholic simply hasn't even had a lot of shot attempts in this period so far. So, they're only 2 for 13 in this quarter. In the first half so far.
And Damani Carter, he leads all rebounders with 4. He's a 6-foot guard. So, and what's happening is the Mustangs, they miss a shot, but they're following their shots.
And as a matter of fact, buddy, Wildwood Catholic does not have a shot attempt in this quarter. They have 3 turnovers. Here's Zarfati. Zone defense being shown by Mervo here. Here's White on the right wing, excuse me. Lopez goes over to Zarfati. Lopez again in the corner to White. White will raise up for 3. That's going to be no good. And the rebound brought down by Jamari Thrash, who just checked into the game.
And that shot was literally taken right in front of Brian and I from where we're perched. And you could tell when it left his hands, it was not a good follow through. He rushed it a bit, and you could tell right away it wasn't going in.
White the rebound of a missed shot, and he is fouled.
They're going to call that foul on number 30, Jamani Thrash, and that's going to be his first, team's 6th. And Thrash is a 6'6".
Wildwood Catholic has gone more than 8 minutes without a field goal until that right there by Jaleel White. Top of the lane jumper. And now Wildwood Catholic showing some pressure here.
And Thrash coming off the bench, Brian. He's a 6'6" junior.
Driving is Alexander into the paint. Kicks out. 3 ball on the way is short. And the rebound goes, we're going to say that's off of Wildwood Catholic and out of bounds. No, and the official, I mean, from here we kind of saw that. The official just pointed the wrong way. It is Wildwood Catholic's ball. Thweet had the rebound and had it knocked out of his hands.
And Wildwood Catholic coaching staff, those that weren't standing, jettisoned out of their chairs, and the official did correct himself and make the right call. 16-9, 4:15 to play. Second quarter, Wildwood Catholic trails.
Lopez holding, his ball on the floor, goes back to Thweet. Thweet hands off to White. White into the lane, to the basket, layup. Got it, a foul, what a move by Jaleel White.
And Brian, that's what we were talking about. We didn't see a lot of that until last night in Jaleel's game. I mean, obviously they don't want to see him crashing hard to the floor.
The one thing that's noticeable tonight, buddy, he doesn't have a knee brace on. So you can tell he's feeling better. You know, in case you didn't know about Jaleel White, the Temple signee, he tore meniscus in his knee during the AAU summer season in the summer. Had surgery. Was fine at the beginning of the preseason, but then developed some soreness as the preseason went on. He only played in one scrimmage. But it seems like we noticed it last night. There's a foul on Ben Church by Wildwood Catholic. But we saw last night a little bit more of the explosiveness, and we certainly saw it on that move there to the basket.
Yes, absolutely.
Still has
and that's what we're talking about.
Still has a little limp to the gate, but he's getting there.
And that's his creativity, Brian. That's what they need him to do, is to cause that havoc the big guy can with his ball handling skills.
Well, Wildwood Catholic has scored 5 straight now. It's 16-12. Driving is Carter. And he had it knocked out of his hands and out of bounds.
That last Mustangs foul was called on Will Thomas, and that was his first, team's 7th.
Inbound pass is stolen away by Hopping. Hopping got it, and then he stepped back court. Inadvertently, I mean, he was just in a bad spot there. He was right at the division line, and he had both feet in the front court when he gathered the ball, and then when he spun, one of his feet went in the backcourt. That's just an unfortunate turnover there.
It looked like before he got possession, him and Alexander banged, and then Jacob had a clear, he was going to get the ball, that Alexander kind of pulled on the back of his jersey. That didn't cause the backcourt.
Carter, foul line jumper, off the rim, no good. Jaleel White, skies above everyone for the rebound. Got it to Taj Thweet in the corner of Lopez. Lopez to the basket, taken out of his hands by Rushing, but Rushing was deemed to have stepped on the end line, so Wildwood Catholic will have it.
16-12, 3:19 to play, first half. Wildwood Catholic inbounding under their basket.
Get it into Hopping in the paint. Ball fakes once, twice, layup. Oh man, Jacob Hopping can't buy a bucket. And now we're going to have a foul, I believe, on Taj Thweet on the rebound.
And that's exactly what they're going to call. It's going to be the 6th team foul against Wildwood Catholic.
Here's Daniel Wilson. Stripped by Lopez. White lobs it ahead to Hopping. Hopping back to White. White, bad dribble, and lost it out of bounds.
Well, that was a tough break for Wildwood Catholic. That's one of those portable floor bounces that you do see from time to time.
Yeah, sometimes you get a dead spot, and then sometimes you get a springy spot. I think Jaleel hit the springy spot on that dribble, and the ball just got away from him. 16-12, Mervo Tech on top. Exactly 3 minutes to go. Second quarter, our live video stream here on coastsportstoday.com, brought to you by Ulmer's Appliance for all of your appliance repair needs in Cape May County. 609-368-4444. And as we say all the time on our broadcasts, don't be afraid to call that number at any time.
That's right, any time.
Yeah, I mean, he gets solicitations on that number 24 hours a day, so why not?
And you know, the funny, not that it's a funny thing, is all I hear from my mom is how great Matt Ulmer is when she needs an appliance fixed. She's probably his biggest fan.
Here's a steal by Thweet. Thweet to White. White to the basket, and he's fouled.
And right now, Brian, both teams have turned it over 9 times here in this first half. And Tion Russian, he picks up his second foul, team's 8th.
White rattles home the first foul shot.
And yes, he did. That last foul, Brian, on Taj Thweet, that was his second.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Well,
how much long? I mean, it's right. 2:49 to go. How much longer do you keep Thweet in the game to at least start thinking maybe a little offense to defense?
White missed the second free throw. Oh, that's a foul. It's an offensive foul. And I don't think there was any malice to it, but no. Elijah Ranton just turned and caught Deshaun Lopez in the face with an elbow. And that is an offensive foul.
You talk about taking one for the team.
You know, and the thing is, in Ranton's case, he's 6'10".
Yes.
So, you know, when he has his elbows up, when he gets a rebound, you know, a 6'3" kid's going to be right there around the elbow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly no malice there, but it was just he just spun and his elbow caught Lopez right in the face.
And the good, you know, and you talk about that time, Deshaun Lopez takes one for the team. You know, in more ways than one. Yeah,
at first it looked like they were going to send Lopez to the line, but it's a player control foul, so Wildwood Catholic just gets possession. Lopez is now out of the game in favor of Church.
And I do know there is an orthodontist in the house. I saw Dr. Versier.
Maybe pressed in the service at halftime.
Yeah, he's a Wildwood Catholic alumnus.
Here's Jaleel White with Catholic trailing by 3. They are on a little 6-0 spurt here. High post pass, a bad one. Stolen away by Ranton. Ranton gets it center of the floor. Rushing, goes into the corner where he is trapped. And then he throws it off of Ben Church and out of bounds.
So that was a good heads-up play by Russian.
Well, after he made the mistake of dribbling into the corner and picking it up.
Well, exactly. But at least he had presence of mind to kind of correct himself, at least to retain possession.
Mervo with the basketball, rushing on the left wing. Drives to the basket, reverse layup is good. Wow. Oh, what a move.
Yeah, what a move, what a shot. And then Tion Russian, he really made up for that, getting caught in the corner.
White, and he had it knocked out of his hands, but then off the foot of a Mervo player and out of bounds.
And that time Taylor Miller and Tion Russian both did a good job coming over to double.
Bad pass by White. White threw it away, too high for Thweet. That's hard to do.
Taylor Miller is another 6'4" guy.
3 ball on the way is short. Rebound blocked from behind by Thweet. Thweet the rebound and got it to Hopping. Hopping across the division line, splits a double team, goes down the lane to the basket. No good, but a foul. And maybe this is where Jacob Hopping can get himself going at the foul line. He's 0 for 6 from the floor tonight. He's had 2 3-point attempts go in and out. He had a layup attempt go in and out. And he's scoreless here. But he's at the line here for 2 shots. 18-13, Wildwood Catholic trailing Mervo. Hopping's free throw is good. Second free throw by Hopping. Oh, and that one goes in and out, and he just laughs. I mean, you're talking about snake bitten right there. Some pressure by Wildwood Catholic. They get it to Ranton. He is fouled by Zarfati.
Well, they're fortunate, too. Not that Thweet did anything, because he just let him go.
Oh, no, they called that on Thweet.
Well,
that's his third foul.
Absolutely, and I wonder, again, if someone needs to make Coach Dave DeWeese aware of that. 1:26 to play here in the first half.
Well, I think he is aware, because I think Taj just turned around and said, Coach, don't take me out. But it looks like he's going to come out. Here comes Lopez.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to take him out. I don't care what he tells you. You got to protect him going into the second half, especially when you're down 5 points, possibly 6.
Both free throws are missed. Free throw shooter, nobody checked them. But what a play by Ben Church to get the loose ball. White stuffs it with 2 hands.
And Wildwood Catholic needed that. They almost gave up another offensive rebound, able to come up with it, then Hopping finding White.
They get it ahead. Ben Church with a steal. Got it to Hopping. Hopping around the back dribble to beat pressure. Comes across the division line. Down the lane, Jacob Hopping kicks. Zarfati for 3 in the tie. Short. Rebound brought down by Mervo. Here comes Alexander. Got it ahead. Dropping the ball was Alan Wilkins.
Yeah, Wildwood Catholic right there.
Zarfati knocked it out of bounds.
Zarfati did a good job. Did a great job, Brian, hustling back to get in the way and cause some disruption, not to allow the Mustang to have a wide open layup.
Driving to the basket, and a foul is called as Alexander will go to the line for 2 shots.
Dejan Lopez is going to pick up.
And here's the thing, buddy.
His first.
You know, Wildwood Catholic right now is really only 6 players deep. Mervo has played at least 8 or 9 so far. And if foul trouble could really become an issue in the second half for Wildwood, especially for Wildwood Catholic. Alexander made the first. It's 20-16. Mervo on top. Second free throw is also good. 45 seconds to go in the half. Hopping got it to White. White will handle it. Double teamed, lobs it up to Lopez. Lopez is doubled. Dribbles once. Got it to Church. Church is knocked to the deck by Ranton. That's a solid fundamental play by Ben Church, buddy. Someone throws you a pass, especially against pressure, you step to it. And had Ben Church not stepped to that ball, it would have been a turnover and a steal. But Church stepped to it, and Ranton banged into him from behind.
And Ranton, he picks up his...
And Church will go to the line for 2 shots after we...
There's some blood, evidently, when Ben Church hit the floor right there. He scraped his right knee. He's now being tended to by the trainer.
Yeah, there is...
I think there's some blood on the floor as well.
Yeah, there's a designated amount of time that you can clean this up. And then if you can't get it cleaned up, then they have to sub for him.
And that last foul, Brian, on Elijah Ranton, the 6'10 senior, that was his second. It's the team's 10th. So it's going to be a 2-shot foul. And Church, they're going to take out. They're going to sub him out. And anybody can be sent to the foul line in his place. And it's going to be Taj Thweet. We had a game last night, Brian, where there's some confusion.
Not anybody, but anybody on the bench. Not a player currently in the game. So they brought Thweet in for Church. And Thweet will shoot the 2 free throws. And, well, they're bringing Church to the scorer's table, but he can't come in for Thweet if Thweet makes the second free throw.
And
because
first free throw is good.
Thweet has to be in the game for at least 1 tick of the clock.
No, the games people play.
Thweet makes both. And they allowed that sub. I'm going to have to check that. I don't think they can allow that sub, and they're not. Billy Martin just blew the whistle. He's the lead official on the game. And this is correct. Taj Thweet came in to shoot the free throws. He must remain in the game for at least 1 tick off the clock by rule. Thweet's going to have to come back into the game.
And they're going to bring in Nick Montalbano.
Well, actually, they didn't allow Church back in. And Church has to sit out for 1 tick. Thweet, I believe, also has to stay in for 1 tick. But they allowed that sub for Montalbano to come in for Thweet.
Well, the whole thing obviously is very interesting, but like you said, Billy Martin's out there taking control. The last thing we want to see is either coach get ticked off.
Yeah, we'll have to get an explanation on this because they did allow Thweet to go out. Well, Mervo has the ball, leading by 3 with 30 seconds left in the half. Driving is Pryor, shut off. Cross-court pass. And now Mervo will settle things down.
They're going to try and hold for one shot.
Yeah. Here's Carter. Playing catch with Alexander. 11 seconds to go. They lose it. Stripped. Here goes Jaleel White. Jaleel White up to Zarfati. Layup is good at the buzzer. And Wildwood Catholic cuts it to a 1-point game at 21-20 at the half. And we'll step aside with the audio for a few minutes, and then we'll come back with the start of the second half right after this on this special live video All right, we're back at the Boardwalk Basketball Classic. Brian Kniff, Buddy Tarbotton on this special live video stream. Wildwood Catholic and Mervo. Mervo leading 21-20 at the half. We got an explanation on that funky substitution thing when Taj Tweet came off the bench to shoot free throws and then made the second and was subbed out. That is legal. What is not legal, which the officials did prevent, is the player that he replaced who had blood on his knee, Ben Church, cannot check back in for Thweet until at least a tick goes off the clock, which is why they then sent Montalbano in. But Thweet will start the second half playing with 3 fouls. Wildwood Catholic can take the lead on this possession. It would be their first lead since very early in the basketball game. Hopping right side, thought about a 3, now kicks across to David Zarfati. In the corner to Deshaun Lopez. Low post to Zarfati, to a cutting Thweet. Jump hook off the rim, no good. Rebound is loose, and Mervo has it.
I'll tell you what, Brian, right there, Taj Tweet's got to be very aware. When he missed his shot, he was going for the offensive rebound, but he was reaching from a terrible angle.
Yeah, and he's got 3 fouls already.
Exactly. That's how you get number 4, and you do not need to pick up number 4, that type of foul.
Will Thomas in the paint, gets a man in the air, and is fouled by Lopez. And Will Thomas had 25 points last night in Mervo's win. He's been held to 5 so far.
Yeah, he had 25 points, Brian, to go along with 9 rebounds, 3 assists. He shot 10 for 22 from the floor.
His free throw goes in and out.
He shot 10 for 22 from the floor. And last night he was 5 of 6 from the charity stripe. That's his first visit there tonight, and he, as Brian said, he missed.
Second free throw is good, so it's a 2-point lead for Mervo. Mervo shows some pressure here. They get it in the White. It's just straight man-to-man. And White will bring it up against the defense of Damani Carter. Jaleel White, couple crossover dribbles, trying to shake free. White down the lane to the basket. Hit the bottom of the backboard as he tried to avoid a block shot. And hopping fouls Carlos Alexander in the front court.
And that is going to be the first personal foul on Jacob Hopping. That last foul was on Deshaun Lopez, Brian, and now he has 3 personal fouls.
Yeah.
So out on the floor, Lopez and Thweet are each playing with 3 personal fouls. We got 6:40 to play here in the third quarter. It's 22-20. The Mustangs on top of the Crusaders.
They get it center of the floor. Now we have a foul.
And that might be Deshaun Lopez. It's going to be interesting. They could give it to White.
It is on White.
And Jaleel White will pick up his first. And that quickly, Wildwood Catholic has 3 team fouls here in the third quarter.
Yeah, 1 minute, 29 seconds into the period. And again, you know, they're just not real deep right now. They're going to get a couple of kids back, I believe, for Sunday's game against Archbishop Wood. But Martin Angelov is sitting out a transfer agreement, missing the first 4 games of the year. And Tommy Belanson also on a transfer rules, sitting out. He's expected to be in the rotation. Wildwood Catholic's going to get much deeper, but that's not going to help them tonight. Here's Hopping trying to turn the corner, gets into the lane, kicks out to Zarfati. Mervo by 2, high post pass to Thweet. Thweet down the lane to the basket, got it, the foul.
Boy, that was a good, strong move, and that was the correct call.
And that was, you know, anytime when you're in foul trouble, buddy, and you put yourself in that block charge situation, you know, if you're a Wildwood Catholic fan, you hold your breath, but the blocking call went Wildwood Catholic's way, and Taj Tweet can give Wildwood Catholic the lead. If he completes the 3-point play, it will be Wildwood Catholic's first lead since early in the basketball game.
And Brian, a big part of that play right there, Tion Rushing just picked up his 4th foul.
Wow.
So you got Thweet taking it, they each had 3, taking it to Thweet, taking it to Rushing. Somebody was going to end up with their 4th foul, but that was the correct call.
Thweet's free throw is good. One thing about Taj Sweet, buddy, so far this season, he has really been an excellent free throw shooter. Here's a near steal, and now it's knocked away. Here's Lopez, center of the floor, behind the back dribble. Lopez lobs it for White, but he missed the dunk, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Wow. That was obviously...
And listen, what a delivery by Lopez.
Yes.
He served that up perfectly. That was like breakfast in bed, and Jaleel White couldn't finish it.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough break. Tion Rushing, as I just said, Brian, picked up his 4th personal foul. Last night, he was...
Here's a steal by Zarfati. Wildwood Catholic the other way. Lopez, cross court to Hopping, fakes a 3, drives to the basket. Wild shots, no good. I think he lost the handle on the ball as he went up.
He did. He lost the handle of the ball and he tried to go left and ended up going under the backboard, and it was no good. Rushing had 16 points last night.
Carter down low to Thomas. Shot is no good. Got his own rebound along the baseline. Got it to Ranton. He misses a shot. White got it to Hopping. Hopping, driving, spinning, lays it off for Thweet. And it's turned over. I don't know where Hopping was going there. He needed to take a jump stop at the top of the lane. To the basket, and the layup is good by Carter. Lopez backed away because he didn't want to commit another foul. And now it's Mervo on top by a point.
It was almost like Wildwood Catholic needed a timeout, Brian, on one of their last 2 possessions because they're expending a ton of energy defensively.
Top of the key, Zarfati.
A timeout could have settled them down, and Coach DeWeese would go into his bag, into his artillery, and come out with one of his patented out-of-bounds plays.
Thweet, an 18-footer, no good, rattles in and out.
I think that actually went off the backboard.
Oh, it did, but then it rattled in and out.
Right. Well, I don't think he meant to shoot.
No, he certainly did not.
From straight away. 3:58 to go. Mervo 24, Wildwood Catholic 23. We're in the 3rd quarter.
Carter driving, rejected by Thweet. Hopping saves it, got it to Lopez. They get it up to Zarfati, and his layup is good.
Wow, you talk about moving the ball down the floor without a dribble. That's keeping your head up.
There's a pass ahead, no good on that shot. Now we have a foul. That'll go against Lopez. Ranton missed the initial one. Thomas followed it up.
And Lopez is going to pick up his 4th personal foul, Brian. So Coach DeWeese is going to have to sub him out. Lopez has yet to score in the basketball game. He's only attempted 2 shots.
25-24. Wildwood Catholic on top. Thomas misses the first. Ben Church comes into the game, replaces Lopez. Lopez had a nice couple of minutes there, buddy.
And Will Thomas is now 2 of 7.
Except picking up the 4th foul.
Thomas now 2 of 7, Brian, from the charity stripe. He was 5 of 6 last night.
2nd free throw is good. Here's Zarfati. Got it to White. White trapped, lobs it back to Zarfati. Zarfati got it to Hopping. Hopping cross court to White. White wide open right wing 3. Short, rebound, Church. Church dives on the floor for a loose ball, but then it's taken away by Carter. Up ahead, shot up is good by Carlos Alexander over Jacob Hopping.
That was a really good move by Alexander.
Hopping bumped and fouled. And I think he was fortunate there. I mean, he dribbled right into a triple team. Mervo by 2, 3:01 to go 3rd quarter. Here's Jaleel White for Wildwood Catholic.
Crusaders trailing by 2, 27-25.
White drives, pulls up, floater, nearly airballed it. Church the offensive rebound, turns, fires, no. Got his own rebound again, and he is fouled. I don't think the shot attempt by Church was really prudent, buddy, but You got to give it to him for his hustle, and he'll retain possession for Wildwood Catholic, and he gets a warm applause from the Crusader faithful, including his teammates on the bench,
well, you know
recognizing that effort there.
Absolutely, and if I catch the ball right under the basket like that, Brian, you know I'm in there against the trees, but I'm going to pump fake, and I'm going to try and take it up.
High post pass to Thweet. Thweet back door to Hopping. Reverse layup. Got it. Tied at 27.
And that's the first 2-point field goal, for Jacob Hopping. He now has 3 points.
Thomas shovels across to Ranton. Ranton couldn't handle it. That really needed to be a bounce pass. Ranton was wide open, and it was thrown low down by his thighs, and the 6'10 forward couldn't get down to get it.
And that's going to be the 16th turnover against the Mustangs, still holding a decisive rebounding advantage, 28-20 over Wildwood Catholic.
Here's White, goes around Church's screen, goes to Zarfati, back to White, to Hopping, top of the key. Hopping fakes, drives, layup, got it!
There we go.
What a move by Jacob Hopping. And Wildwood Catholic back on top, 29-27. Wildwood Catholic showing a little pressure here. Comes Alexander, kicks it across. Jumper's no good, but it's tipped up and in by Thomas.
Well, and that time nobody got a body on Will Thomas. He had a clean path right to the front of the rim, and he was able to get his hand on that and tip it in.
29-29 tie, 1:30 to go. Hopping had all kinds of trouble there against Alexander, and Alexander swept his pass attempt out of bounds. Hopping to inbound, got it to White in the corner. To Thweet, layup, got it. Set play off the inbound. Thweet screens in for White. White catches and lobs it up over the defender trying to front Thweet. Perfect execution of the out-of-bounds play.
And he didn't worry about trying to dunk it.
Here's a near steal by Thweet. Bouncing down low, and a foul on Zarfati. Block pass from Alexander to Ranton.
Getting back to that set inbounds play, Brian, that was a good lob from White to Thweet, who had his man on his back on the right block. Thweet didn't worry about trying to get fancy with a dunk. He used the glass, went up strong, and laid it in.
Carter on the wing, bounces back up high to Pryor. Now it's Alexander back to Pryor. Wildwood Catholic in zone here. Here's Carter, high post, down low to Ranton, and he's fouled by White.
And yes, that is the right call. And it will be the 6th team foul. 6th team foul against Wildwood Catholic. And J. Lil White picks up his 3rd personal foul.
Ranton to the line. Free throw's no good. So White on the floor with 3. Thweet on the floor with 3. Deshaun Lopez is on the bench with 4 for Wildwood Catholic. Second free throw by Ranton is good. So it's 31-30 Wildwood Catholic on top. 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
And now Ranton 2 of 4 from the line. As a team, the Mustangs are 7 of 16 from the charity stripe.
43 seconds to go in the quarter. Possession arrow is in Mervo's favor, but with this foul trouble, it wouldn't be a shock, buddy, to see Wildwood Catholic try to hold for one. White puts it on the floor, kicks to Church. Church out high to Zarfati, now it's Hopping.
Well, and again, it would not be a bad decision by Coach DeWeese. Shorten the game.
Here's Hopping to the basket.
Wow.
Layup is good. What a move.
And that's all it took.
Now we're going to have, I believe we're going to have a delay of game warning on Wildwood Catholic here for knocking the ball away, which is really just a slap on the wrist, but the next one is a technical foul.
And they called that on Jacob Hopping. He gets that delay game warning.
There's a traveling violation. Good defense by Wildwood Catholic, kind of sticking arms and bodies in the passing lane and causing a turnover. 7 seconds to play in the period. In the corner, White. White had it knocked out of his hands, out of bounds.
exactly 6 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Wildwood Catholic now up 33-30, but with an opportunity here.
And now we have a foul. This is a holding foul away from the ball. But what this does, buddy, is instead of inbounding the ball in the corner, Wildwood Catholic will now be able to inbound the ball underneath the basket.
Yeah.
And that's a big advantage.
Absolutely, because they were deep in that corner right in front of their bench, which is a terrible angle. But now they can go under the basket where their bag of tricks for out-of-bounds plays is much more plentiful.
Hopping, driving to the basket. Got it, a foul!
Jacob Hopping, he needed one earlier to finally go down, and now Brian, he is on a roll. 2.9 seconds to go. Hopping will go to the line to try and finish off this three-point play the old-fashioned way. And that was a big opportunity here for Hopping.
2.9 seconds to go. Hopping's free throw is no good. Oh, we have a lane violation against Mervo.
Wow.
That's going to give Jacob Hopping another free throw. And if he makes this free throw, it will give Wildwood Catholic its largest lead of the game at 6 points. This free throw is good.
Nothing but net that time.
Mervo will not get a shot away to end the third quarter. So Wildwood Catholic now, they outscore Mervo 16-9 in the third quarter, and they lead at 36-30. The special live web stream from the Boardwalk Basketball Classic, the Frank McEllarna Memorial Boys Bracket title game between Wildwood Catholic and Mervo, is brought to you by Ulmer's Appliance. For all of your appliance repair needs in Cape May County, give them a call at 609-368-4444. Jacob Hopping, buddy, really heating up here in that third quarter.
Well, he's got 10 points, Brian, all in that third quarter.
Right. Well,
and like you kept saying,
he had 1 point in the second quarter of free throws. So he had 9 in the third quarter.
And like you were saying, you know, those shots in that first half were down and in and then popped out.
Right.
Down. It didn't matter if it was a three-pointer, didn't matter if it was a layup or a free throw. And you don't see a shooter like Hopping get that snake bitten. But, you know, this is the fourth game, and that's the way it's been. And you called it correctly when, you know, Hopping it just needed one. He needed one to finally go down, stay down, and kind of break that, you know, that funky bit of not good momentum that he had going. And bam, did he get, like you said, did he light it up? And all good, strong drives.
All right, here's Mervo with the basketball, starting the fourth quarter, Wildwood Catholic by 6. Crusaders in zone defense here. They get it to Thomas in the post, kicks across, pass, and Mervo was fortunate because Thomas was kicking the ball into the corner. There was actually no Mervo player there, but Zarfati tipped it.
Well, Tion Rushing has 4 fouls for the Mustangs. Elijah Rankin has 3. Nate Pryor has 3.
Here's a shot rejected by Thweet, out of bounds. Church tried to save it, but the ball hit the end line.
And Brian, for Wildwood Catholic, foul trouble. Deshaun Lopez has 4. Taj Sweet played that much of that quarter, did not pick up his 4th foul, so he still has 3. So, you know, Wildwood Catholic, Jaleel White also has 3 personals. But hey, we're in the fourth quarter, 7:20 to play.
Jumper on the way, rattled home by Damani Carter.
The 6-foot senior knocks that one down. Nice textbook jumps, stop,
White
off the dribble.
Ball screen from Thweet, now it's Zarfati, David Zarfati. And he's fouled. Will Thomas being a little too aggressive there. And that's going to send Zarfati to the line for a 1-and-1, I think, buddy. Or is that the 6th?
No, that will be the 6th team foul. Thomas picks up his second.
Both teams with 6 team fouls, so we could be seeing a lot of free throws in this fourth quarter, still with just under 7 minutes to go. Thweet, top of the key, lost his dribble in a bad spot. Got it over to White. White behind Thweet's screen. White drives, left elbow jumper, rattles in and out. Ranton the rebound for Mervo. Mervo trailing by 4, 6:34 to go in the fourth quarter. Carter with it. Swings it over to Rushing.
Wildwood Catholic sitting back in that zone. Mervo being patient.
Driving to the basket, tried to shovel it off to Ranton, and it's out of bounds. Pryor tried to throw it to Ranton after driving the baseline. It was way too hot to handle.
And Brian, that is the 18th turnover against the Mustangs. And again, they're still enjoying. They've out-rebounded the Crusaders 31-20 thus far. They have 11 offensive rebounds.
Run and jump here by Mervo, but Wildwood Catholic gets it up quickly in the corner. Taj Thweet for 3. In and out. Rebound tipped up by White. No good, but a foul. He was bumped to the floor, and he'll go to the line for 2 shots.
Well, Thweet had his feet set. He was down in that deep in that right corner beyond the arc. That was a good shot. I mean, it rimmed in and out. Nobody picked up Jalil White, and Jalil was able to go right down the lane and get that offensive rebound and try and put it back in, but he draws the foul and he knocks down the first free throw.
He now has 12 points. He and Hopping are the only players in the game in double figures. Second free throw is good. Hopping has 10. White now with 13. 38-32. Wildwood Catholic matches their largest lead. 5:55 to go in the fourth. Alexander with it for Mervo. Backs away. Wildwood Catholic's been playing more zone in this game, buddy, than we've seen them play this season so far through 3 games, and it's been rather effective. Alexander down the lane, shovels off to Ranton, and Thweet with the 3 fouls just lets him go up and dunk. So I'm not going to challenge that and pick up my 4th from a compromised position. Smart play by Thweet. Give up the 2 points and live another day. Live to play another day. White down the lane to the basket. Got it in the foul.
And Brian, that's what we have not seen out of Jalil White, is that type of penetration. Gets to the basket, uses that big frame. His wingspan is just incredible.
Free throw is good by White. Wildwood Catholic has its largest lead at 7, 41-34, 5:20 to go in the basketball game. Here's Pryor. Pryor dribbling through a handful of Wildwood Catholic players dangerously, but was able to flip it back out to Carter. Picked up by Zarfati. Down the lane. Wild shot. No good. Rebound Thweet. Thweet pushing for Wildwood Catholic. Takes a bump. Ball goes up to Church. And he settles it down for the Crusaders. Up to Hopping. Hopping trying to go around a man. Down the lane. Shovels off to Thweet. The little finger roll is good. And it's Wildwood Catholic by 9. Mervo needs a timeout.
And I'll tell you what, that was again, Jacob Hopping made a good decision, Brian. That was very good dribble penetration. Thweet came down that right baseline. Hopping came to that jump stop, shoveled the ball to Thweet, and the more impressive part, Thweet did not try and do any type of acrobatic dunk. He just laid it up and in.
So that brought the Crusader faithful to their feet, buddy, including Father Wallace, and why not? At the effort the Crusaders have displayed. I mean, this is, you know, you always talk about you're going to have those little spots in the season where you're going to face some adversity, and right now, you know, Wildwood Catholic still waiting for 2 transfers to become eligible. They got players in foul trouble against a very good team, and here they are holding 9 with 4:39 to go in the basketball game. And to this point, they've responded extremely well to that adversity.
Absolutely, and as you said, you got Father Wallace sitting right next to Father Steve. And Father Steve's also a big hoops fan. And, they both were very excited about that play. And you know what? It doesn't hurt, Brian, to have a little extra help. Because going into this game, I thought if Wildwood Catholic didn't play better, they didn't have a prayer. I didn't realize they were going to bring the two priests with them.
And again, we talked about this last night, buddy. Wildwood Catholic has not been real good. I shouldn't say not real good, but just not up to their potential offensively. But this is, to this point in the season anyway, this is an elite defensive team at the high school level. I mean, this Mervo team is good. They scored 66 points last night, and Wildwood Catholic has held them to 34 right now with 4.5 to go in the fourth.
Well, their last 4 games, they won all of them, and they were in the mid-60s and broke 70 in one of them.
Rushing to the basket, fouled by Thweet. That's not a good foul. I mean, he made Rushing change his shot, but by just going straight up, and then he hacked down with the arm, and that's Thweet's fourth.
Yes. Taj Sweet picks up his fourth. That's going to be the 7th team foul against Wildwood Catholic. And it is going to send Tion Rushing, who also is playing with 4 fouls, to the line. He misses the first free throw. He will get one more.
Catholic by 9. Second free throw is good, so make it 8. 4:23 to go in the fourth. Lopez back in the game for Wildwood Catholic with the 4 fouls. Dribbles up across the division line, got it to White, who lobs left side to Hopping. Hopping in the post to White. Shot blocked by Ranton, goes right back to Hopping, though, and he flips it out to Lopez, and Wildwood Catholic will reset its offense. Lopez goes around the man, drives, changes his shot in midair, misses, tipped up and in by Taj Sweet.
Well, nobody was there to challenge Sweet except for Carlos Alexander, and Alexander was no match.
Oh, and Lopez just picked up his 5th foul, excuse me. Blocking foul on the far side, and he will exit the game. So Deshaun Lopez will be disqualified from the game for 5 fouls.
Well, and Ben Church will check back in, Brian, and to Ben Church's credit, he's really given them quality minutes tonight, which we saw him do a lot of that last year. He comes in off that bench and is not.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The best attribute that Ben Church has, buddy, is that he does not try to do things that he knows he's not capable of doing. And that's really his best attribute as a bench player. Set a good screen, grab a rebound, dive on the floor for a loose ball, make a wide open layup. He knows his limitations, and that's why he's such a valuable piece for Wildwood Catholic off the bench.
Absolutely. He's a very smart, heady player.
Free throws were both good, so now it's an 8-point game. Wildwood Catholic on top. White, double teamed, got it back to Hopping. Hopping flips it over to Zarfati. Zarfati back to Hopping. Wildwood Catholic, center of the floor to White. White bumped and fouled, and he will go to the line for a 1-and-1 with 3:27 to go.
White slipped and slid out of bounds, Brian. And, what we could see, as our viewers could see, the entire team ran over to him.
And now we're going to start seeing, buddy, some offense for defense substitutions with Thweet having the 4 fouls. Nick Montalbano just checked in for Wildwood Catholic, and Thweet goes to the bench. White missed the front end of the 1-and-1.
That was the 9th team foul against the Mustangs.
Driving, off to Ranton, and he dropped it. Alexander, a nice play, threw it off of Ranton's chest and out of bounds. And here comes Thweet back in for Montalbano.
And this is, it's going to come down to now. It's going to be a chess match.
Timeout on the floor. Wildwood Catholic calls a full timeout. Crusaders by 8, 3:18 to go in the fourth.
Wildwood Catholic has turned it over 13 times. And Brian, they've only turned it over twice here in the second half. They had 11 turnovers in that first half. The Mustangs, they've turned it over 19 times, and Catholic's getting a little bit back into it with some better rebounding. They have 24 rebounds as a team, and Mervo has 32. So, you know, Catholic chopping into that. They were down double digits in the rebounding department, and that's they have to just play strong with the ball. The role players have to box out, because this Mervo team can send some big kids, you know, one on the floor already and also off the bench.
So 3:18 to go. Wildwood Catholic with an 8-point lead. They will inbound here. And it's David Zarfati to trigger the inbound. Got it to Hopping up to White, up to Church. Church holds, lets the defense fly by him, goes back to Hopping in the corner to White. White, a baseline drive, reverse layup, spins it off the glass, no good. Rebound brought down by Mervo. And here comes Carter. Carter down the lane, rejected by Thweet, but Thomas follows it up and in.
And that cuts the lead to 6. 45-39, 2:50 to play.
Zarfati threw it away. Here's Thomas running, goes around Hopping, and his layup is good. Timeout, Wildwood Catholic. And it's all of a sudden a 4-point game as Mervo has scored 6 straight. 2:44 to go here in the fourth.
And that obviously is not what Coach DeWeese wanted to see coming out of that last timeout that he called. You know, he called that timeout to make his players, make his team aware of the full court pressure that was going to be coming.
Yeah,
and to try and, you know, make sure they knew what they needed to do.
Buddy, one thing that to look at here is, you know, we're late in a close game. Wildwood Catholic is 80% from the line at 12 for 15 tonight. Mervo is just 10 for 20, so they've only made half of theirs. So that really could become a factor as we go down the stretch here. 2:44 to go in the final period, and Wildwood Catholic leading by 4. But Mervo has scored 6 straight. Hopping, goes cross court to Thweet. Thweet cross court to Church. Church to the basket. Oh, he missed the layup. And the rebound's brought down by Ranton. Yeah. And here comes Mervo.
And he missed that layup badly. But here we go. Wildwood Catholic now has to pick it up on the defensive end.
They get it down low to Thomas. Thomas into the lane, off the glass, no good. Rebound goes off of Church and out of bounds. And that was unfortunate for Wildwood Catholic because Thomas and Ranton, the teammates, were fighting for that rebound, and then they kind of banged it toward Church and went off of his shoulder and out of bounds. Another timeout on the floor, this one by Mervo. So Wildwood Catholic still leading by 4. Just to let everybody know, locally tomorrow here at the Boardwalk Basketball Classic, we'll have a girls game in the Caitlin Anzelo Memorial Bracket on 98.7 The Coast Radio between Wildwood and Marion Mercy Academy.
Wildwood Catholic has not scored, Brian, since the 4:04 mark, and that was a Taz Thweet putback off of Deshaun Lopez miss. So they're going to be coming up, you know, roughly on 2 minutes, stuck on this 45 number.
Thomas in the post, goes right around Thweet and lays it in. Thweet couldn't foul him. And it's a 2-point game. Hopping, lobs to White. It was kind of a lazy pass, but White stepped to it. Hopping across the division line, takes it right side, stolen away. Here's Mervo, they can tie it here to Thomas, and he dunks it. And we're tied at 45.
And it's a 10-0 run for the Mustangs. 1:51 to play. It's 45-45.
They got it to White. White up to Church, back to White. White will attack the basket, and he is fouled by Ranton. And White has taken some hard falls to the floor tonight, buddy.
And Ranton just fouled out, Brian. Yeah. That's his 5th. So the 6'10 Ranton has just fouled out.
Yeah. And Mervo wants to try to take advantage of a kind of a pseudo timeout here. And they're only supposed to get 20 seconds to bring the sub in.
Coach Darren Harding calls over all his troops plus the sub, and Ranton, he stayed out on the floor on the block underneath the basket to let his team gather in front of the scores table, as Brian said, to have that timeout.
Jaleel White, 2 free throws. First one is good, got the friendly bounce.
Absolutely.
He's now 6 for 8 from the line. He has 17 points in the game. And he ties Will Thomas with game highs. Thomas is really heated up in this fourth quarter. White's second free throw. Mervo was in the lane early again. That was Jamari Thrash who stepped in early, so White gets another crack at it.
And the one thing, obviously, White needs to do is get up on his toes, follow through, and hold that. As you watch him now, Brian, even when he's practicing without the ball, he's shooting flat-footed. There we go.
And that free throw is good. Buddy had it good out of his hands. 47-45, Wildwood Catholic on top.
And I was watching his feet.
1:45 to go in the game. Bounce pass across. Driving is Alexander into the paint. Scoop shot. No good. Tipped up and in by Thrash. And we're tied again at 47. Hopping, steps through a double team, got it to Zarfati, bounced ahead to Church. Church doubled, dribbles away from pressure, got it to Hopping on the left wing. 1:18 to go. Hopping had the ball taken out of his hands. And here goes Mervo. Alexander to the basket, blocked by White, but followed up and in by Thrash, and Mervo is on top with a minute to play.
And
Hopping going down the right wing for Wildwood Catholic and is fouled.
Thrash coming off that bench, Brian. I was talking about that a couple moments ago, about the size of the guys that they not only can put on the floor, but they bring off the bench. Thrash is 6'6", and all he's doing is going straight to the basket to try and clean up a miss, and that's exactly what he did right there to give his team the lead. And Thrash is a junior, so he'll be back next year for Darren Harding. So these are valuable minutes that he is getting coming off the bench for the Mustangs.
58 seconds to go. Hopping at the line. Wildwood Catholic trailing by 2. First one is good. Hopping is 3 of 4 from the line. He has 11 points, 10 of his 11 here in the second half. Hopping second free throw. Rattles home.
But shooter's touch puts that one in because he had good rotation, good follow through. So we got that friendly kiss on the rim because of that.
Tied at 49, 52 seconds to go in regulation. Here's a pass that was kind of risky by Alexander, but now Carter will reset the offense for Mervo.
And Wildwood Catholic sitting back in that zone.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to allow Mervo to take the last shot.
Wow, this is a game of nerves right now. 27 seconds. Clock is ticking. Mervo with the ball. Catholic sitting back in that 2-3 zone. 17 seconds.
And now we have a timeout.
Coach Darren Harding for the Mustangs calls that timeout. 16.8 seconds left to play in regulation.
One thing that's interesting, buddy, as we're tied at 49, a non-shooting foul by Wildwood Catholic would only send Mervo to the line for a 1-and-1. So Wildwood Catholic has committed 8 team fouls, so it's still another set of a 1-and-1 if there's a foul that's a non-shooting foul while they're on defense.
make things pretty dicey, because as you pointed out, in tonight's game, Mervo's struggling at the charity stripe, just 10 of 20. Last night, the Mustangs, shot free throws a lot better. They were 15 for 18, Brian, as a team. But tonight, that's not the case. They're 10 of 20. So it's really going to be interesting to see how these 16.8 seconds play out. And Wildwood Catholic with Thweet on the floor with 4 fouls. J. Lil White with 3.
Now it looks like there's some water near the court, so they bring a mop out to handle that. And now it looks like we're about set to go.
Tion Russian for the Mustangs has 4 personals. Demani Carter 3.
Wildwood Catholic comes out man-to-man here. Here's Rushing to Alexander. 6 seconds to go. Alexander fouled by Church.
Well, it's going to be a 1-and-1, and he definitely fouled him. Their feet got tangled up.
So Alexander will go to the line. He's 4 for 6 on the night. This is a 1-and-1. Free throw is short. Rebound, batted around, and it's going to go off of Wildwood Catholic and out of bounds. 4.5 seconds to go.
Well, again there, the bounce goes the Mustangs' way. They're going to call another timeout, Brian.
Wow.
And you could tell right from when the ball was released by Carlos Alexander that it was going to come up short, but it bounded off to the right side, and Wildwood Catholic not able to come down with the defensive rebound. Ball batted around a little bit, then it was knocked off either White or Thweet. 4.5 seconds to go, and the Mustangs are going to be able to inbound with plenty of time and underneath the basket, which is the best spot to set up an inbounds play.
All right, here we go. 4.5 to go. They're having trouble getting it in. They finally do. Cushing shot blocked by White. Thweet, three-quarter court heave. Off the rim! Oh, my! Thweet nearly won it with a 65-footer at the buzzer, but we will go to overtime.
Wow. What great defense that time again by Wildwood Catholic, Brian. I mean, they really manned up and came out and took any type of passing lane or ability to drive to the basket, put the ball on the floor, to kind of take it maybe a couple dribbles and kick it back out. And then, J. Lil White, he came all the way over, and he clearly got up and blocked that shot very cleanly.
But we'll go to overtime. What a finish. And let me tell you something, buddy. Had Taj Thweet made that shot, that would have been on every highlight show in America. You get a block shot, you pick up the ball and just turn around and heave it, and that almost went in. Off the backboard, off the rim. So we go to overtime, and again, in this overtime, we have the foul issues. Taj Thweet playing with 4. Deshaun Lopez has already fouled out. Elijah Ranton has fouled out already for Mervo.
And White has 3. After that, Jacob Hopping has 2, Sarfati has 2. So Wildwood Catholic is okay, but Thweet with the 4. And then the Mustangs they have on the floor rushing with 4. Nate Pryor has 3, and Damani Carter has 3. So here we go.
Mervo possession to open overtime as they win the tip.
Wildwood Catholic comes back out. They changed up the zone a little bit, Brian.
Thomas blocked from behind by White. They lob it back out as Mervo gets the rebound. Alexander on the wing. This Mervo team does not take a ton of threes. They're 1 for 7 in the game. They didn't take a ton last night either. Last night they attempted just 7. Pass in the post, too hot to handle. They were looking for Jamari Thrash, and it goes out of bounds, and Wildwood Catholic will have it.
And that's going to be the 20th turnover against the Mustangs. And Brian, you can understand why this team doesn't shoot a lot of threes with the type of height that they have. I mean, they're going to pound the ball, they're going to go inside, and their guards get great dribble penetration. We saw it tonight, and they're very good offensive rebounders.
Here's White, takes it to the wing, had it stripped, stolen away. Here's Mervo going to the basket, and we have a traveling violation. Jacob Hopping did enough, tracking back defensively, and caused Tion Rushing to take an extra step. He ended up missing the layup anyway, but he's called for a traveling violation.
And not only that, Hopping made a great play, but then there was Thweet. Thweet ran hard the length of the floor to make sure that he was going to make that shot difficult.
White down the lane, jump stop, off the glass, and good. What a move by Jaleel White. Mike McGarry watching the broadcast, buddy, can't wait to put the late night scores up online.
Oh man, that was a nice little acrobatic shot.
Catholic by 2. In the post to Thomas, off the glass, no good but a foul. I think this will be against Church. Either Church or Zarfati. And it is Ben Church.
So Ben Church, he's going to pick up his 3rd personal foul. Wildwood Catholic's over the limit.
Yeah, both teams.
That's irrelevant. This is a 2-shot foul anyway.
Yeah, we're in double bonus time the rest of the game anyway. Here's a free throw miss by Thomas. And Thomas is only 3 for 9 from the line tonight, buddy.
And like I said last night, Brian, when he had that 25 points, he was 5 of 6 from the line.
Made the second. So it's Wildwood Catholic by 1, 2:26 to go in overtime. And Zarfati with it to inbound. He got it to White. White clears everyone, says, I'll handle it from here. Run and jump being shown by Mervo. He gets it up to Zarfati. Zarfati lobs across the Hopping.
Well, those passes make a coach nervous. That cross-court pass.
High post to Thweet. Thweet fumbled it, dribbles to the basket, and is fouled. Thweet fouled by Thrash. And he will go to the line.
Jamari Thrash picks up his 2nd personal foul. So, as Brian said, Thweet will go to the line to shoot 2. 2:07 to play.
Free throw is good.
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Thweet now has 12 points. He has 7 rebounds. And probably 3 or 4 block shots as well. That's the one stat we don't have on our live stats that we have on our computers here. Thweet makes the second. Wildwood Catholic by 3.
Nothing but the bottom of the net twice.
Boy, at 6'8", buddy, boy, he is a tremendous free throw shooter. He really is. Tion Rushing for Mervo. Pass was kicked by Jacob Hopping.
And it was a nice double team. Nice trap right there by Hopping and White, Brian.
Now the Crusaders will drop back to 2-3 zone.
1:55.
In the corner to Thomas. Baseline drive to the basket. Layup is good.
Boy, Will Thomas, he is one tough player.
Zarfati trapped. And we're going to have a timeout. Timeout called by Wildwood Catholic with 1:40 to go in overtime. Crusaders lead by 1.
And you can see right there, Brian, the Mustangs, Coach Harding, he teaches those kids. They press full court very well. And that was an excellent trap that they set up. They took away all passing angles from Zarfati, and Coach Dave DeWeese, who had an official right in front of him, wisely called, for that timeout, because that had turnover written all over it. And that's one thing, and that's what got these guys right back in the game, meaning Mervo. They were down 45-35, and the next thing you know, they willed themselves right back in with very good defensive pressure. Whether it was full court, three-quarter court, they started turning Catholic over. Next thing you know, it's 45-45.
Yeah, Wildwood Catholic trailed by as much as 9 in the first half. They led by as much as 10 early in the fourth quarter. And Mervo came back and forced overtime. Taj Sweet nearly won it on a 65-foot shot that went off the backboard and then the front of the rim as time expired. And Wildwood Catholic here holding a 1-point lead with the ball in overtime. Jaleel White, the Temple signee. Play for Aaron McKee's Owls next year. Gives it off to David Zarfati. Zarfati goes right side. Backs away, breaks the 5-second count, and is fouled. Alexander's been a real disruptor defensively, and Zarfati did a great job there of protecting the basketball as Alexander reached, and it was a foul.
He's been disruptive not only on the defensive end, but he's actually gave them an infusion of energy, Brian, in that first half. He also has 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists.
Zarfati at the line. That one's good. This is his first trip. Wildwood Catholic is now 19 for 22 from the line. Second free throw by Zarfati is good.
And again,
Matt Ulmer thought I was going to jinx him, but we're not on 98.7 The Coast tonight. That's the only time the jinx comes in.
Absolutely.
Live stream only here. Catholic by 3, 1:05 to go. Here's Carter. Stolen away by Jaleel White.
What a pick by White.
White got it to Hopping.
Under a minute to play.
Hopping double team, dribbles through it. Down the lane, kicks out to Zarfati. Wow. Zarfati, an athletic play to keep the possession. Church, center of the floor to Hopping. Hopping gets a man in the air. No good, but a foul. And with 45 seconds to go, Jacob Hopping can make this a 2-possession game if he even just makes 1 free throw.
And Coach Dave DeWeese wiping his brow. And, then he pulls Taj Sweet over to the bench to give him some advice. But as Brian said, Hopping at the line now.
Oh, and he's way short on that one.
He's now 4 of 6. Catholic now 20 of 24. This is the big one, though. This is critical. As you said, Brian, it makes it a 2-possession game. Gives you a little bit more breathing room. Not a lot.
Second one spins out. So we're still a 1-possession game with 42 seconds to go. Here goes Mervo. Wildwood Catholic showing some zone pressure. Lob pass ahead. Oh, and Sweet fouls Carter.
He just missed that one, too.
That's it. If you're Wildwood Catholic, though, that's a gamble you don't want him to take.
That's absolutely right.
That's his 5th.
That's going to be his 5th personal foul. And it's going to send the Mustang to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. Now, who's going to come in off the bench? It looks like they're talking to Jared Hopping, Brian, the 6'4" junior, the younger brother of Jacob.
With having the lead, no matter what happens on these free throws, you need an extra ball handler, and Jared Hopping would certainly be the better option than Nick Montalbano. Montalbano's been like the 7th player for Wildwood Catholic so far this year, and Jared Hopping is probably the better option when it comes to handling the ball.
And not only that, he's a good shooter.
He's a good free throw shooter.
Yeah, he's a good free throw shooter. So you're going to be in that situation where, one, you want to get the ball into a ball handler and somebody that's going to get fouled probably relatively quickly.
So here's Damani Carter to the line for Mervo. Free throw is good.
And he is, both teams are in the two-shot bonus.
This is Carter's first trip to the foul line. Catholic by 2, 36 seconds to go.
55-53. Wildwood Catholic on top of Mervo.
Second free throw is also good.
Nothing but the bottom of the net twice.
Jacob Hopping the inbound, throws it high to Jaleel White. Stolen away. Here's Alexander to the basket. No good. Rebound, Jacob Hopping. Stepping through some pressure. And a timeout is called by Wildwood Catholic.
I'll tell you what, give a lot of credit right there, Brian.
Well, Jacob Hopping was awfully ball strong there against a lot of physicality.
And he didn't do
Mervo.
Like, he didn't panic and try and dribble through that. As you said, he was ball strong. He had nowhere to go.
And the thing is, if you keep your composure there, you know, Jacob knows there's 3 players around him, and I don't think his teammates did a good job of getting into passing lanes and coming to the ball. Jacob knew somebody's got to be open, and he stepped through that triple team, and no one was open, and he had to come back. And then Wildwood Catholic called the timeout.
Yeah, he stepped through that trap twice, and you know, and again playing just. You talk about, you know, you teach the kids, you teach your players, Brian, how to do the rip through. You know, there was a classic example of ball strong and ripping through that trap, not trying to dribble. The other thing, that's going to be a disaster.
The other thing too, and I don't know if Jacob Hopping understood this at the time, but the possession arrows in Wildwood Catholic's favor, so it would not have been the worst thing in the world to get tied up as well.
I'm going to say Jacob knew that.
No, give him that credit. It's things you should know late in the game. You know, an assistant coach should always be in charge of that.
Yes.
You know, you tell your kids, you get in trouble, don't make a risky pass. We have the possession arrow. A near steal, but Hopping has it. Hopping lobs it over to Jared Hopping, back to David Zarfati, and Zarfati is fouled with 17 seconds to go. Catholic holding 1.
And these are going to be an understatement by me saying they're big free throws for the junior.
Zarfati got it.
Nothing but the bottom of the net for David Zarfati, the 6'1" junior. And this is another big one because this will give them a 3-point lead.
Oh, what a stroke by Zarfati under pressure there. It's Catholic by 3. 16 seconds to go. Mervo with the basketball. Here's Alexander, front of the Mervo bench. Kicks it across. Driving off the glass, no good. Rebound, Ben Church, and he is fouled.
1.9 seconds.
And that'll do it, basically.
1.9 seconds left in overtime.
Ben Church with the biggest rebound of the basketball game right there.
And this is the Frank McAlarnon Championship game. Frank McAlarnon, a longtime teacher and coach at Wildwood Catholic High School.
Church makes the first, and that definitely seals it. Wildwood Catholic by 4 with 1.9 seconds to go. Second one is no good. Desperation heave is no good, and Wildwood Catholic wins a thriller in overtime, 58-54, to remain unbeaten on the season at 4-0, and they win the championship of the Frank McAlarnon Memorial Boys Bracket here at the Boardwalk Basketball Classic. And what a basketball game. Absolutely tremendous.
Absolutely, and Brian, you're right. I mean, and I'm going to be the first one to say, I believed Wildwood Catholic had their hands full coming into this game, and I would not have been surprised if this would have been their first loss tonight. And again, going back to last night's game, they win 45-29. 2 players score 41 of the 45 points. Yes, they do bring it every night offensively, but you know what? Tonight, these kids played very hard, not to take anything away from Mervo, because those kids played very hard too.
Now we have
just a good.
Now we have a Mervo player trying to run into the Wildwood Catholic celebration huddle. And it looks like a Wildwood Catholic substitute got into it, and Dave DeWeese just summoned him to the locker room.
Yeah, that was Coach DeWeese was not happy at all, and it was a bench player, somebody at the very end of the bench, who I don't even know if gets any minutes at all. Well, he definitely doesn't get minutes tonight or in any close games.
Might not get any anytime soon either.
He could be a former player, and Wildwood Catholic, as they are holding up the Frank McAlarnin Memorial Championship Trophy, and justly deserved. And like I was saying, Brian, I'm not going to sit here and say I said Wildwood Catholic was going to come out and win this game. After last night, the conversations that we've had, the way that they were playing, they were primed to lose to a good team. And this Mervo team is, they're an excellent team. They're well coached. But Wildwood Catholic, they did what we saw them do last year. They rose to the occasion.
Yeah, and again, they did not play their best game, but they figured out a way to beat a really good team on a night when they had multiple players in foul trouble. And
they got crushed on the boards. They lost the rebounding edge 41-27. So you don't normally get out-rebounded, 41-27 and win a basketball game, Brian. The turnover situation, Mervo had 22, Catholic had 18. That's kind of a wash. But, you look at the way Wildwood Catholic shot the ball, they shot 36% from the floor. They were 17 for 47 total, and they were they only made 1 3-pointer.
Well, the difference in the game, really, when you think about it, as much as we had such excitement here and the up and down and whatnot, there's really where they won the game was the free throw line. They shot 23 for 29. That's 79.3%. And Mervo was only 13 for 25. That's 52%. That's where Wildwood Catholic won the basketball game, was at the free throw line.
Yeah, and absolutely. And at one point, they were 20 of 23. So, in the critical time, they had given themselves enough of a cushion to be able to absorb a couple of misses here and there. And unfortunately, there's something going on.
Yeah, there was another little altercation over by the concession stand, and now it seems to have been settled down. There are multiple Wildwood police officers in the building.
They probably ran out of what are those Tostito or chips?
The walking tacos. Yeah, maybe they ran out. There was a ruckus over there. They ran out of walking tacos.
They ran out of walking tacos.
All right, let's wrap this one up here. For Wildwood Catholic, they go to 4-0. Well, first for Mervo Tech, they dropped to 5-2. Will Thomas had 20, 9 for Damani Carter, 8 for Carlos Alexander, 5 points for Tion Rushing, and then 4 apiece for Nate Pryor and Elijah Ranton and Jamari Thrash. For Wildwood Catholic, Jaleel White had his best game of the season so far, 20 points, shot 7 for 9 from the foul line, also had 5 rebounds and picked up a couple of steals and a couple of block shots. Taj Sweet had 13 and 7 rebounds. Jacob Hopping had 12. Ben Church with 3 point. I missed David Zarfati. He was also in double figures with 10, and then Ben Church with 3 points. Wildwood Catholic improves to 3-0. Thanks for joining us on this very special live video stream, sponsored by Ulmer's Appliance. For Buddy Tarbonton, I'm Brian Kniff. Thanks for joining us from the Boardwalk Basketball Classic as Wildwood Catholic wins it 58-54 over Mervo Tech.